Welcome back to the channel, everybody. This is Kane the Diesel Freak, the most hated OSU fan on the planet. Welcome to the special edition of the Sunday Show, courtesy of yours truly. Today is another beautiful day and another beautiful another beautiful episode of the college football the Sunday show of the college of the Diesel Freak. And let me tell you, gentlemen, ladies and gents, it's gonna be one wild ride. And I'm gonna tell you what. Um, I'm gonna tell you what. I've got a special guest coming back on live tonight, and I think you guys are gonna like what I got in store. I've got I got a Big 12 fan returning to the show, and don't forget to hit the like button, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to just leave a comment. Like, everybody's welcome to call on it. I just dropped the StreamYard link for you guys. So you guys can call on it anytime, during the show with any questions. But with that being said, college football playoffs are around the corner. The first couple of games to qualify are around the corner. Alabama, Oklahoma is playing along with Ole Miss, Tulane, and also James Madison in Oregon. What are the questions that I had? I had told a Michigan fan earlier that, in my opinion, the winner between Ole Miss and Tulane will face Georgia, and then whoever for the Big 12 champs, Texas Tech, that's between Oregon and JMU. But I won't get into that further. I'm going to wait on my special guest today, who I will tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, is one special individual, and I'll tell you what, his work is unbelievable. That guy, I tell you what, his college football knowledge is really amazing, and he needs no introduction. And that man is Daniel Gygax, the College Football Mafia. If you guys have been following me along, the College Football Mafia is the exclusive channel home to my phone calls. And I told Bomber 2 weeks ago, Notre Dame is one of the most overrated teams in all college football. With that being said, I would have thought JMU and BYU would have also been included instead of Miami, because they already lost 3 games. But you know what? It is what it is. An 11-2 team can't request barely anything. But with that said, I just honestly say to folks, like, there's at least things I feel about Notre Dame and things I tell people I don't give a damn about Notre Dame. And I'll tell you what, it's true. It is absolutely daggone true. For where it comes to. But I mean, that's just my honest opinion. People can tell me otherwise. But here's my, I'm waiting on my guest to come on. Daniel Gygax, the College Football Mafia, who we talked last week, and I specifically stated to him, like, hey, this is something that I really thought would be interesting for a conversation to talk about. But at the same time, this would be something cool. But if you don't watch College Football Mafia, you should. It is an awesome YouTube channel, and Nathan, Mullen, and everybody is a great, and they're there. Daniel Gygax is amazing, and I want to give the College Football Mafia a big shout out. I, I'm serious, ladies and gentlemen. That's a great, amazing crew right there at the College Football Mafia. Be sure to subscribe to the College Football Mafia. Give them all the thumbs up. Be sure to tell them I sent you their way. I'm just waiting on Daniel Gygax to get in here to talk some college football with me tonight. By the way, checking out on social media at the other Gygax. I'm sorry if I said your name incorrect, Dan. Um, but actually, actually, I just saw this. Dale Guy guys, how you doing tonight, good buddy?
Fun, excitement. Bowl games have started. What more can you want in life?
Ain't that right, Dale Guy guys? Let's talk the games coming up Friday and Saturday. Let's talk about those games. So Friday, we know it's Texas A&M and Miami. The
Yep.
winner of that game will go to Ohio. Will play Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl. My team, but Daniel, guys, I want to get your opinion and who do you think will win that game? And I want to start off with you first because obviously you're one of those people that I really love your opinion.
Every single time I say A&M looks legitimate, they fall flat on their face. If you ever watch the SEC shorts, they have battered Aggie syndrome, where they get so close and then fall apart.
Oh, I've seen that before.
Oh yeah. I want to say A&M so bad. I want to say A&M. I want to say A&M just so it would make things interesting there at the Jerry Dome. Quite a number of A&M alums fans will be there at the Jerry Dome against Ohio State. Miami has played some really good ball.
Yes, they have.
Write me down for that little ag school in Texas. I think that I want to say that they could probably win that. I'm going to say they break the curse finally.
So you got Texas A&M winning versus Miami.
Yes.
Now, here's my opinion. I said originally Miami because Carson Beck is a good quarterback and Miami's played well. But looking over at Texas A&M, if Texas A&M can step up against Miami and win it at home or on the road, that would be amazing. But if Texas A&M fumbles this against Miami, and honestly, I'd say this is a 50-50 for me, honestly.
That's the way I am too. This is probably going to be the toughest game to call out of all of them, just due to the fact that both are very well coached. Both have really good rosters. Like I said, I just think A&M might pull it out. You know what's going to happen now that I just said that? Miami's going to boat race to Aggies and win by 50.
Right. I mean, Miami could do it or A&M could do it, either way. But that game is going to be one of the most down to physical, and I believe one of the most physical games to be called right now. The next game, and I think the next game right now, I think might be a no-brainer for me. Alabama, Oklahoma. I have Oklahoma winning that one. I mean, Oklahoma beat Alabama.
Yes, they did.
Losses.
Yes, and Oklahoma's already beat Alabama, and that game was in Tuscaloosa. Repeating a win is difficult. I think it's going to be OU.
And Alabama's battered and beat. They just
every school right now is battered and beaten. I mean, you name a school that isn't on isn't going down their depth charts for offensive linemen or defensive linemen or linebackers or this position or that position. Everybody is. Everybody has.
Right, but I'm saying like that SEC title game, Georgia, Alabama, and Georgia just winning it by 3 touchdowns was just unbelievable. That was the game I literally turned the TV off the third quarter because I was like, yeah, this is going to be a manslaughter.
Yeah, and then you turn around and BYU just absolutely gets house by Texas Tech. I'm not going to rehash it. It's not worth me talking about.
No. And speaking of Texas Tech, they've got JMU and Oregon to qualify for that Fiesta Bowl game against Texas Tech. Speaking of JMU and Oregon, James Madison and Oregon, who do you got winning that game by chance, Daniel Gygax? And I feel like this answer is going to be good from you. Because I'm saving the last game because I think that one's a no-brainer, but let's get to JMU and Oregon.
Here's the thing. As much as I love Group of 6 teams, as much as I love the Sun Belt teams, as much as I love JMU, Oregon will win that one.
I mean, I can agree with you on that, but I mean, Group of 6 and Group of 5 teams have been known to pull upsets and, have known to pull out some wins like that. But however, Oregon has struggled a bit on offense. They struggled a bit on defense. But I believe Oregon could struggle against JMU. Now, I'm not saying James Madison could blow them out completely.
No.
I'm just saying JMU could just maybe do something like what TCU did to Michigan or Appalachian State to Troy. You know, Appalachian State, like the Appalachian State store.
Yes, but okay. Count on one hand the number of G6 wins versus Power 5. It happens. It doesn't happen often. That's where you look at it. It's like I said, it's not that I don't love the Dukes.
But Oregon is winning that game ultimately.
And I've seen both of them play on TV. Matter of fact, I talked about it in one of my shorts where James Madison was the highest ranked G6 team. And I'm like, okay, how many people watched them play Marshall on ESPNU? Later come out, the game had like 96,000 people that was it on the viewership for that game. JMU at Marshall, ESPNU. Right. And I want to say that was a noon game, noon Eastern. So if you look at what it was up against everything. So
yeah.
And like I said, I just think Oregon's better.
Right. And I agree with you. Oregon is a better team, so I'm going to say Oregon wins that game. But I'm going to give at least JMU a 30% chance.
I mean, it's not like there is zero chance that JMU is going to win that game.
I'm not
playing a football game. Somebody's got to win it.
Right. But here's my thing. I mean, I'm giving JMU a little room to at least say, if they can do something miraculous, I'll give them that. And plus,
correct.
My father is an alma mater of James Madison University.
Oh, I know the campus very well.
It's a great campus.
I was born right next to it at Rockingham Memorial Hospital in Harrisonburg, Virginia. I'm familiar with the campus.
Mm-hmm.
I've got friends of mine. I got a friend of mine. He's from West Virginia, but he did his undergrad at JMU. He's did his law school at WVU. They're from southern part of the state, but trying to talk his daughters into going to JMU. So I know I know Harrisonburg, Virginia very well.
That's awesome. But let's get to the final game. Ole Miss Tulane. Winner of that game faces the SEC champion Georgia Bulldogs, who absolutely smacked Alabama.
Correct.
Honest opinion. Ole Miss, Tulane. Who do you got?
Tulane. What motivating factor does Ole Miss have left? Their head coach is gone. A large number of that coaching staff has already said we're leaving. Yes, I know Summerall is leaving there at Tulane to take the job at Florida. I think that I think Tulane just has a bigger chip on the shoulder. You've got a lot of that Ole Miss roster. The second they're out of the playoffs, you're going to see that roster absolutely go down to, I wouldn't say zero, but there's a lot of people out the door.
Different transfers and whatnot.
Yeah.
People announcing transfer like Ohio State, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of people out the door.
Yeah. I mean, unless Ole Miss makes a phone call to Nick Saban, which I highly doubt Nick Saban's coming back to coach either at Ole Miss.
And here's the thing with Retzlaff. I watched him last year with BYU. He is good. He isn't great. He is good at managing. And that's what Tulane needed. Somebody that could go in there, manage the game, say, okay, this is how things are going to work. Because the honor code that they have at BYU, we did a whole show on it, talking about it. Even if a lot of the allegations never happened, both of them admitted to having relations together, and BYU is very strict on that.
Right.
BYU, and we talked about it on that show too at the same time. BYU, this is whenever Jimmer Fredette was there on the BYU team, they had a guy that got kicked off the team because he was shacked up with his girlfriend at some apartment off campus.
Right.
And no relations. They're strict. That was, we couldn't remember if it was before the NCAA tournament or...
It was before the NCAA
tournament. It was before the NCAA tournament, but we couldn't remember if it was before the Mountain West basketball tournament. We couldn't remember the time frame that was set up for it.
Right. But let me just say that, and I'll say this. Let's say Oklahoma wins. I'm going to say Oklahoma has a better chance to blow or at least take an upset win over Indiana. Because Oklahoma and Indiana would be a good matchup.
Yes.
And then Oregon, Texas Tech. I feel like with Texas Tech's defensive roster, I feel like they could leave Oregon in a bit of a blowout situation where Texas Tech could score, say like 3 touchdowns. And then the offense scores at least 2 more. Oregon loses that game by 5 touchdowns. I'm going to put it at that. Because Texas Tech's defense, although they lost the game to Arizona State, their defense has stepped up. And I give Jacob Rodriguez, their guy at linebacker, a lot of credit for stepping his game up.
I don't think... Here's the thing with Oregon. Oregon is Texas A&M just on the West Coast. They spend a lot of money bringing talent in, and they have for
decades,
30 years. So if you're going to look at what Oregon has, what Texas Tech has, what A&M has, the problem that Oregon has is you're bringing in talent from California up into Oregon. You don't have the state of Oregon. It does produce some D1 talent, but it doesn't produce D1 talent at the numbers that you have here in California.
Right.
I just think that Oregon's got the same number of football national championships as me and you do. 0.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to take a lot to get Oregon over the hump.
Right. And let me say this, and this is just my opinion, but like with Texas A&M, they're a good roster. Oregon's a good roster. But I've watched Texas Tech's defense and play absolutely phenomenal. I believe Texas Tech wins over, Oregon. And that's just me. I could be wrong. I could be an idiot. I don't know.
Nobody does. Nobody does until they play the game.
Right.
We're guessing. I mean, that's all that we're doing. We're looking at
Right.
seeing who's there. We could guess. That's it.
Mhm.
I guess wrong all the time.
Oh yeah, I've lost a few. I've lost a few games, and it's nothing new.
Yes.
But like just for what I and this is just me. Texas Tech, and I love Texas Tech and what they're doing at Lubbock. Pat Mahomes returns to campus, brings Adidas to campus, funds them a
Oh,
lot.
Mahomes got injured today.
Yeah, I saw it against Texas. But that's Patrick Mahomes alma mater.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of good kids on Lubbock, Texas campus, and the Red Raiders, I believe, are a great playoff team.
They are.
And I will just say it's going to be amazing to see, Texas Tech play in the playoffs and do either the impossible or it could be just one of them, one hit story. Wonder, like a Cinderella story, like TCU, Cincinnati,
Maybe it.
or it could be a good game. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what they do.
Here's how I see it. I talked about it last week with you. Texas Tech was always a good 8-9 win team before they ended up getting a big load of cash given to them. So it wasn't like that we're talking like a team that's 4-8 and bought a roster. They always were pretty darn good. Now they've got enough there to compete for conference championships.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever Patrick Mahomes was there, how many times did he beat WVU?
What was it like?
0-2.
0-2, right.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, and I agree with you, Dan. Dan, I do agree with you on that. And then let's get to another scenario: Ohio State, Texas Tech, in the national championship. And I'm only asking this because I want your honest opinion. Two great defenses. What do you got? If it comes down to Texas Tech and Ohio State.
Texas Tech. Well, you got to look at it this way. Ohio State still has a lot of people on a roster that won a national championship last year.
Mm-hmm.
They know how to win. It's not like that Texas Tech is, oh, we're just happy to be here and all this other stuff, blah, blah, blah. They want to win a championship too. So that being said, I'm still going to give the nod to Ohio State. They've been there, they proved it, they won last year.
And I say, Daniel, I agree with you. Like, It's a no question game. We have a roster. Like, that's no question. We win that national championship easy. And we win it in a fashion. And I do want to give a big shout out to also Daniel Gygax for joining me always. Great guy, by the way. And let
Thank
me go
you.
back to the comments. Vic2 Productions, thank you so much for joining me today. How you doing tonight? Or doing this afternoon, good buddy? Shout out to Vic2, a Georgia Bulldog fan, fun fact. And one good fan I do respect as a Georgia Bulldog fan. But let's get to Georgia. And Georgia obviously is a favorite team in the SEC. And FCC champions, they only lost one game.
Yes.
And they
turned around and the team that beat them in the SEC championship, they absolutely just throttled them.
Not even just throttled, more like just manhandled them.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. It'd be winner of Ole Miss Tulane, and I already told you what I thought of
Ole Miss and Tulane.
Yeah, I think Tulane can win that.
Right.
Because you've got a lot of people from that Ole Miss staff that's mailed it in. They've already trying to take jobs, and you've got a lot of players on that roster. Heck, they're out the door the second they get a chance to. I see Georgia, even if it's Ole Miss, even if it's Tulane, I see Georgia probably just
blowing
boat racing. Yeah, boat racing whatever team that's there.
And speaking of a Georgia, Daniel Gygax, we got a Georgia fan on the line today.
Uh-huh.
And it is Vic2. Vic2, how you doing tonight, good buddy?
Yo, what's up, Caden?
So, actually, Vic2, we were just talking, me and Daniel
Gygax. We haven't met yet. Who's your co-host, Caden?
So this is Daniel Gygax. He is, and Daniel, I think you should introduce yourself, sir.
Hi, I'm Dan. I'm with the College Football Mafia. I do a series of shorts. I go live every once in a while with those guys. We've basically we talk about what does and doesn't happen with sports. We've said a lot of things that we shouldn't, and we don't care.
So anyway, so I'm VicTube. Yeah, I do have a YouTube channel, VicTube Productions. Yeah, I post stuff on there all the time. As Caden mentioned, I am a fan of the Georgia Bulldogs. Yeah, I'm getting pretty close to 1,000 subs. I think I'm at like 978 right now. So just need 22 more. Hoping that I can get to 1,000 by the end of the year. So.
And so, Victor, Dan and I were just talking about Georgia specifically and the Ole Miss Tulane game. And Victor, I want to get your thoughts. How do you feel about either playing Tulane or Ole Miss if Georgia happens?
I think we're going to play Ole Miss. I mean, I still expect Ole Miss to beat the brakes off Tulane again. So I'm thinking that we're gonna play Ole Miss, and I mean, I'm feeling pretty good about our chances to win that one. I mean, of course, we already played in the regular season and we won, but this time, obviously, Kiffin not with Ole Miss anymore, and also our defense has been playing a lot better. It's just been looking completely different than it was in the first half of the season. So.
And I completely agree. And Victor, I honestly see where you're coming from. And Dan and I were just talking. Tulane could give Georgia problems at the same time.
I don't see Tulane giving Georgia a headache. I don't even see Ole Miss giving Georgia a headache.
No.
I see Tulane giving Ole Miss a headache.
Maybe.
I think that Tulane, they've got a big chip on their shoulder. Yes, I know their coach is leaving too, but guess what?
What?
that Ole Miss staff, they've melded in. It seems like that they're ready to skip town. And I think Tulane can put it together enough to beat Ole Miss.
And I meant to say Ole Miss. Thank you, Daniel.
Yeah.
For correcting me. You know what? Tulane, Ole Miss. I honestly agree. Tulane could give Ole Miss problems, but ultimately, Georgia is the main game that they've got to play in Georgia, which is absolutely to destroy them. I think what they're the SEC champs for a reason. A rematch against Ole Miss, yeah, I don't see that game going good for Ole Miss. But Daniel, let's get to another thing I wanted to maybe mention to you. And Victor, I appreciate you coming on, sir. And we will catch you on the flip side, sir.
Are you kicking me out, Caden?
Well, I need. You got anything going on right now tonight, or?
No, not really. I guess, yeah. Can you put the link to David's channel in the chat so I can go sub him?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can
Hold on.
go ahead and put. Yeah, you can go ahead and put. Yeah. And I'll make sure to put my link in the chat. Also.
Yeah.
There you go.
Let's see.
Hold on. DeBoer signed a extension saying, "I'm very happy and grateful to be in Tuscaloosa, blah, 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 blah. I signed an extension for big money. I'm not leaving for Michigan."
So it has been confirmed. Coach DeBoer is staying at Alabama.
Well, that's no, I mean,
no brainer.
He would end up getting Michigan money and Alabama money are about the same. Ohio State money and Michigan money are about the same. I mean, whenever you get right down to whenever you're talking about how much a coach is getting paid, how much is your coaching staff getting paid, how much do you have for this, how much do you have for that, how much money you've put into the Woody Hayes Center there in Columbus compared to the Schembechler Center up at Michigan. I could sit there and say dollar for dollar, they probably are close. Alabama, the same way. Alabama's got a mountain of cash. They are not afraid to spend it.
All right, I subbed up to your channel. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
But Daniel, and you make a great point.
Yeah.
But and then here's my other thing with this. Victor, echoing.
All right, am I okay?
Yeah, you were.
Okay, well, all right. Well, I'll just go ahead and to go then. Yes, thanks for letting me come on, Caden.
Not a problem, sir. Have a great evening.
All right, I'll see you later.
That was VicTube Productions, a fellow Georgia Bulldogs fan. Thank you, sir. Well, let me get to this one, Code. Let me get this one back to you, Gygax. Coach DeBoer staying at Alabama, I feel like is the better decision because, I mean, there's a lot of stuff he still's got at Alabama, yet his coaching staff may be different from what Nick Saban left him.
Well, you're going to bring in your own guys anyway, no matter how you think things are going to go. Hey, there's this linebacker coach been here 20 years. I don't care. I'm bringing my own guys in.
Right.
Every coach does it.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing with DeBoer, Michigan, all the rumors on that. Last night around, so I'd probably say probably about 5 p.m. my time, give or take. There was rumors with Kenny Dillingham going to Michigan. I I have not heard a yes or no if he's staying at Arizona State. There was rumors with Jedd Fisch up at Washington going to Michigan. I have not heard a yes or no, but Washington, their season's done. They played their bowl game. They flew from LA back up to Seattle. They're done. They have nothing to do now. So that right there clears up a lot of things. Just due to the fact that there's no, oh, you're messing with the bowl practices, whatever. No, the Huskies are done.
It's true.
Yeah. So now whenever you're sitting there looking at I joked with a friend of mine that, hey, Bill O'Brien should take that job because Bill O'Brien took over the job at Penn State after I can't even say it here on the on YouTube without getting you a copyright strike, or not copyright strike, without your channel getting stricken with how bad things were with Sandusky and Paterno and the whole entire everything that happened there. I mean, really, I would get your channel nuked if I even started talking about it. But Bill O'Brien took over there, and I was joking that Bill O'Brien would take over at Michigan. Michigan's situation, we don't know how bad it is. We know that there are a lot of coaches that have suspensions. We know there are a lot of coaches that have to sit out games. Jim Harbaugh cannot coach a college football game for the next, I think it's 10 years. Ooh, Crimea River, you won your national championship, but they didn't punish anybody on the staff. I mean, let's get right down to it. It's not that Michigan is a bad job. Michigan is a really good job. Michigan is probably a top 10 job. Michigan's problem is, I wouldn't say that they're late into getting somebody. It's who is going to drop everything and go to Michigan. Like I said, Jedd Fisch, he's done at Washington. This would be the third coach in 3 years if after DeBoer left, they've had Jedd Fisch there for 2 years at UW. And if he leaves to go to Michigan, you've got another guy that you have to come in and put together a roster and recruit players.
It's true. It's true. But the rumors of Kenny Dillingham going to Michigan, I mean, those are just rumors.
Yeah, they're just rumors. I mean, everything's a rumor until you have an AD send out a piece of paper and saying, hey, this guy is our head coach. I mean, it's like that everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, I could sit there, if I went through every DM and every DM from Facebook and Twitter I went through whenever WVU was going through, I could probably fill up a nice sized book. And these are all people that had inside knowledge, or in one case, somebody that previously worked at the university that was giving me information saying, look for this person to get an offer. And that person did not take the offer. Or if there was an offer, he didn't take it. So.
And you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no, anytime you put a rumor about, somebody going somewhere or anything, you actually have to see, like, if that actual AD puts it on, releases the information and says, our new director is here, our new staff, we're new hiring. until like the AD of a coach of a college football team says something, then it's just rumors all around. And I think you could agree with that, Daniel.
Of course. And even then, I'm trying to remember who it was that oh God. This was probably 20 years ago. Oh, it was Rodriguez with Alabama.
Mhm.
Everybody reported Rodriguez took the job at Alabama. This was 06. He was going to leave WVU to go to Alabama. His wife Rita went down there to Tuscaloosa and said, "Nope, we're not moving." They stay at WVU. Some coach that got fired from the Miami Dolphins in 2006 took the job at Alabama, by the way. So that's my biggest what if, that if Rodriguez took the job at Alabama in 06 and that current at the time Miami Dolphins coach wants to coach the team that he was the defensive backs coach for and grew up probably 15 miles away from Mountaineer Field. If he showed up to WVU with Pat White and Steve Slayton at their prime.
It's true. But let's get to I think there's something there's something on my mind. What was it? So Jackson Johnson, I know Daniel, you are somebody on the College Football Mafias on Twitter, and you've seen how much I've crap talked, Indiana after they beat us after the championship game. And you know that I give Jeffrey Jackson a lot of crap for being Indiana and Alabama fans. That I told Jackson Johnson consistently that this Alabama team is good, but if they don't win the key games in their season, and especially the Oklahoma game, which seems to be a bit of a curse, they're screwed.
They're not screwed. They're not screwed. They're not screwed at all.
I meant not to say screwed, but just like they need to get their team up and functional. And to go to the playoffs. They need to get everybody on the same page.
Alabama is in the playoffs. They have a chance to win it. I think the two things with Alabama that I'm looking at, I look at this, I'm not a fan of University of Alabama, never have, never will be. I'm a neutral observer on this. I think Alabama, the one thing they have to do is make it a statement game against Oklahoma. Because who did they lose to?
They lost to Oklahoma.
Exactly. So they need to go and make a statement game. And I'll be honest. We've had Jackson on our show for quite a while. I've yet to say, I've never said a bad word. No, I remember that I was saying that Alabama's not going to make the playoffs, and me and him got into an argument over that. But that's nothing personal. That was that was at the SEC preview game, and me and Jackson get along. We always have, because he understands that Alabama's always going to be Alabama. Ohio State's going to always be Ohio State. Michigan will always be Michigan. Georgia will always be Georgia. Whenever you're talking about the top 10 programs in college football in America, they have high expectations. Always have, always will.
And even with I will say this is one interesting season that I thought, that it was going to be, there was going to be a lot of teams moving around, shifting, but also a lot of unusual turnarounds.
I wouldn't say unusual. Some of them, I mean, whenever you get right down to it, some teams, no matter what, you're going to have X amount of turnover. And now with the portal, that turnover has gone from a normal team would graduate 25, 30. And you'll bring in 25, 30 from just recruiting. Actually 25 is the total number of letter of intents that you can accept, but you'll accept some walk-ons too. You'll accept about another maybe 4 or 5 walk-ons. That's under the old system. Now it's completely different.
Mm-hmm.
WVU on signing day between JUCOs and high school guys was, I want to say, I know it was over 45. I want to say it was 48, and everybody was trying to say, well, get to 50. And that's before a single portal player comes in, because the portal doesn't open until January 2nd, officially.
Mm-hmm. And I personally, agree with you,
Yeah.
Dan. And I'm all, in all that I've watched the College Football Mafia and your shorts, I've never disagreed. Never.
You can if you want to. It's not that.
I'm only saying this because it's true.
I stirred up quite the I stirred up quite the mess whenever I said bowls still matter.
Oh, there's people that say that you're crazy for it, but I'm like, no.
Here's the reason why. They and we're not talking high level P5 P4 schools. Mm-hmm. We're talking lower level P4, and we're talking group of 5. They love going to those things. Yeah, I mean, let's get right down to it. Birmingham, Alabama in December is not a vacation hotspot, but guess what? It's still nice to go to. Not everybody gets to go to Miami or Jacksonville or Orlando or wherever for a fun bowl game. I mean, I put on there the vacation. I used the joke of the vacation hotspot of El Paso because the Sun Bowl has been around since the 1930s. So just due to the fact that here's the thing, they still matter to a lot of alums that they'll set their vacation up around, hey, we're going to Orlando. We're going to San Diego. We're going to LA. Whatever. Not last year, but the year before, WVU played Charlotte versus UNC Charlotte in the Mayo Bowl. There are a lot of WVU alums that are in the greater Charlotte area. So that right there was one of those, hey, it's a close enough drive for everybody to get down there, have some fun, and drive back.
And you make a great point. But I also want to talk about how, and I don't know how to put this out to words, Dan. I'm going to be completely blunt with you. And just me being on YouTube, I know that you do it. This and just like somebody who started out just doing this. But it's like at the same time, I'm just giving my 2 cents. I know Michigan fans still give me crap on social media for saying like, you know, for just being an Ohio State fan. But that's just Michigan, Ohio State. Man, I really don't. I don't get it why Michigan fans still just blow me up and just say, "Oh, this was this," and then there's inappropriate comments like with inappropriate language, and I'm like, "What?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, what did I do? What did I say? Do you have evidence of what I said?"
You want to know something? I don't care. The biggest. No, let me explain. The biggest sports argument I ever got into was with a guy that I went to elementary school with in 1984, and we are great friends. And it was all talking about, I did a short on it, and I brought up a guy I've known since 4th grade at Comfort Elementary in Boone County, West Virginia. And we were talking about loyalty in sports. And we were talking, and what I was talking about was he always talked about coaches leaving for this. It's like, well, it also works on the other side. And it was whenever he got fired from Oklahoma State, and my brain just stopped working. Why can I not remember the guy that was 40 and I'm a man, I'm 40? Hold on. Mike Gundy. Mike Gundy. I had to look it up because my brain just stopped. Mike Gundy was there for 20 years. And his first season in 2005 was a losing season. 2024 was a losing season. And he got fired, I think, 4 or 5 games into this year. I don't even think he made it to the end of September.
Mm-hmm.
So loyalty goes both ways. Whenever you've got an administration that pulls the plug on a guy that's been there 20 years, and let's get right down to it. Gundy, he played quarterback at that university. This is whenever Thurman Thomas and Barry Sanders were on that team. He was an assistant coach on that team. He was affiliated with Oklahoma State Cowboy football for 40 years. So now that whenever you look at a guy that is out the door, you're looking at okay, is there loyalty from the administration? Well, obviously there wasn't. He's gone.
Mm-hmm. And
that was the end of my rant.
No, and I get it. And I believe that, you know, there's a lot of debate that goes on in this great sport, but it's also hard to debate. Because who you're debating with, let alone excuse me. I'm trying to think of the words to say, but at the same time, it's just there's a lot of sensitive subjects in college football. Whose team?
There always has been.
Rivals, championships, who's got more highs, who has better coaching staffs, whose team ultimately won more titles than this team. Now, in my life, and Jackson and I debate about it all the time. And Jackson tells me, you know, Alabama fans have more national championship fans in his lifetime. Okay, yeah. But I told him there's a possibility that I could have more national championships won by Ohio State in my lifetime than Alabama fans. You know what I mean?
my brother, who went to school at Marshall University, reminds me on more than one occasion that Marshall University has more Division I NCAA football championships than Alabama, Ohio State, insert name of school combined, because he's got it on a loophole and technicality, because the NCAA does not give out a national champion to FBS. This is whenever it was the old 1AA and the championship trophy said Division I NCAA.
Really?
Yep.
And this is a Marshall fan.
This was Marshall University. They won in 92 and 96. The one AA national champions in 92 and 96.
So that was the one in 96 Tennessee won.
They won it. That would be that was before the
98.
BCS. Yeah, 98 was the first year BCS. 98 was first year BCS, and that was with T. Martin, and I cannot remember the running back that they had. No. Peyton Manning never won a championship at Tennessee. He never won a national championship at Tennessee. Matter of fact, they never played for a national championship while he was at Tennessee. T. Martin was the one that won that national championship at Tennessee in 98.
Right. And then the West Virginia national championship, it was in 92, right?
No, West Virginia's never won a football national champion.
Or I'm saying they competed in one in what, 92?
93.
93. And Marshall fans claim 92 and 96.
They won a Division I football NCAA national championship in football. It is a technicality. It would be the same as, like right here on my hat, UC Davis. UC Davis has Villanova next week.
In basketball.
No, I take that back. UC Davis lost yesterday. They have Illinois State plays Villanova next week in the FCS champion. If you look at the way the NCAA counts that, it is a Division I football national champion at the FCS level.
But it's not like a college football playoff national champion.
It is the college football playoff is for FBS. That's something
not
different.
FCS.
Yeah. And before the old, where they would have, it was 1A, which would be like a WVU, Ohio State, whatever, MAC teams, stuff like that. And then the next level down, which would have been Marshall, Eastern Kentucky,
UC
Davis, schools like that. And then they, I could not tell you whenever they renamed it to FCS for football championship subdivision and FBS for football bowl subdivision. Oh, I'm going to have to look that up now.
But this is interesting to me because it seems like our out of conference, and I bet any Ohio State fan would agree with me, but our out of conference schedule sometimes like FCS schools is ridiculous.
2006.
But I mean, you get where my point is on that point.
Yes.
Yeah. I just I told Ohio State fans we need tougher competition in our out of conference for Ohio State. Because if we don't play tougher out of conference, it's not looking good on our resume. And that's as a team. Who have we played?
True. Hold on. I'm trying to see if I can pull up the trophy that I'm trying to see if I can find the trophy that they used to hand out. Here we go. Oh no, that's soccer. Never mind. They won soccer like 2 years ago. Oh, yeah, I can't find it. But it was 92 and 96. I do know that much.
Well, find it on the next time we do the show, Dan.
Okay. I'll find it. Like I said, it's just.
It's something interesting to me that it'll have to be a conversation with next week.
Oh yeah. Because you got to think of it this way. I mean, football arguments, no matter if it's Division II California, Indiana, if you know,
Mm-hmm.
or a USC Notre Dame, which who knows what's going to happen with that. They've been around for a century.
Oh yeah, like that Notre Dame USC, that's been a rival for a long time.
1920. Hold on. I want to say it was 1925, and I want to say it was 1925, but they had they had a gap for COVID. 1926. They had a gap. They had 1 year gap with COVID. They had a couple year gap for World War II because nobody wanted, the War Department didn't want travel to the West Coast because everybody thought the West Coast there was a good chance the West Coast could be attacked. Hint, the Rose Bowl for 1942, January 1st, 1942, was played at Duke Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
That's some fact that I have no idea why that's stuck in my head, but you get the idea. They've met 96 times.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. I could go into a long rant about Notre Dame, but I don't know if you want me to or not.
And here's my thing, Daniel. Notre Dame is a team that I don't give a crap
about.
You know that about me.
I know, Caden. I know exactly how you feel about the Fighting Irish, but the memes the past week have been glorious.
Oh yes. Yes, it has them complaining, whining.
Everything. Oh yeah, Moen had two. He had one with
I think it was you. Wow, you.
No,
or Nathan.
No. Mo was one. He did two memes. The first one was Irish Tears Cologne.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Oh my.
Oh, that was so hilarious. And we're like,
fans started going on crying.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh.
Then
you had the one with the official toilet paper of Irish football. It's so soft, just like the team is.
Oh my god, I saw that one. It was awesome.
Oh, they were perfect. They were just so perfect. But yeah, I mean, whenever you get right down to it,
they're overrated. Notre Dame is overrated.
Notre Dame could have went and got paid $6 million, go down to the Pop-Tart Bowl, have some fun at Disneyland. I'm sorry, Disney World. Have some fun going to SeaWorld, whatever.
Orlando.
Huh?
Orlando, yeah.
Yeah. Because usually, I mean, same friend I told you about, his sister's daughter goes to school at Troy State.
Yeah.
And they were at the Cure Bowl was it last year before?
Yep.
And while they were at the Cure Bowl, even though that's played at the soccer facility there in Orlando, they got to go to Universal one day and they got to go to SeaWorld one day. Guess what? It's great that she was in the band. So
Yep.
all the people in the Troy State band got to go with the players.
Right.
Oh, when was this? This would have been
2024.
yes. So it was last year. Oh, I'm trying to remember what year we went down there. I want to say, yeah, it was it would
It
have
was
been
2024.
Yeah. 2014. So it would have been 2015 Rose Bowl. We went down to Disneyland, and while we were there at Disneyland, I remember seeing the Oregon players. I was trying to remember who they played in that game. I saw a ton of Oregon players there. We're down there during Christmas, and there's these Oregon players all over Disneyland because that's a part of the, hey, we're coming down here for 4 or 5 days. One of the days you get to go to Disneyland. Perfect.
Yeah. And I get what you're saying.
Now granted, I can understand. I can understand if coach leaves and all this other stuff that teams don't want to go.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of players, especially if you're junior, senior, you've been there a couple of years, you've gone to these, you've everybody said, oh, it's for the seniors for one last game. No, the seniors have done this before.
Mm-hmm.
It's your first year guys that have never got to go to this that you're really cheating out of.
Yep.
Because those are the guys they've never got the swag bag with the nice beat headphones and this and that or whatever. And they haven't got the chance to do the Disneyland trip or Disney World trip or whatever. So it really affects them more than upperclassmen.
Right.
They've been there. They've done that.
Mm-hmm.
Avery Johnson at K-State. Why do I think that they were in Orlando last year, or year before?
Mm-hmm. Oh, and you're not wrong by any means necessary, Dan.
Okay, no, they played in Phoenix last year. Hold
So
on.
2023.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. Because I know that they played. Yeah, they were in the Pop-Tart Bowl in 2023. So they've been there, done that. They've already. Avery Johnson was the quarterback then. He was a freshman. So you've been there, done that. You went down there 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I get it, but you're still screwing over part of the team.
You're being rude to these guys, and they worked their tails off.
Yeah,
and you're like, oh, this is a no excuse season, please. Like, you gotta be give me a break, Notre Dame. Like, you're just jealous, and you're absolutely just a Grinch. And I tell you what, Dan, if you had Moen on here, I swear to you, I would tell him straight to his face that he's not wrong about Notre Dame. And I know him and I can both agree that they're a bunch of Grinches. They say that they're the best team. They beat everybody. But here's the problem. I told Notre Dame for this, but they can't get it through their thick skull. They play absolute nobody.
It's not like nobody. It's their schedule is just hard enough to get the voters to say, "Ooh, look, they have a couple SEC teams on their schedule. Ooh, they play enough. They play a couple Big Ten. They play a couple of ACCs. So the fact that there is enough on there to sit there and say, yes, they 10-2 with that schedule, and then you're sitting there looking at who they beat, who they didn't beat, where the games were at. I am in the proper world. The ACC tiebreakers wouldn't come down to the way they came down. And it would have been Miami, UVA, 10-2 teams playing against each other in the ACC champion. Due to the fact that I don't think the committee, and I'm going to echo what Wild Ute has said, and I've said it too, but Wild Ute had a good long thing on there. The committee, the CFP committee, was not going to let the ACC go without a team. The problem that they had with the way the contract was written, it's the top 5 conference champions. Duke wasn't getting in at 8-5 because you still had a Tulane that had a better record. You had JMU with a better record. So now you're looking,
and you have a BYU with a better record.
Yeah, but I'm going to skip my BYU rant for now.
You've ranted enough about BYU today. Yeah.
Well, yes, no, and kind of. The reason, here's the thing. The committee was not going to leave the ACC out. And because for the longest time they had Notre Dame ahead of Miami, and it was a head scratcher to us because I remember distinctly watching week 1, Miami beating Notre Dame. They had to include an ACC team in. So they gave Miami the at-large. They had to include Tulane and JMU just because of the way the contract was written. And then whenever it came down to other at-larges, sorry, Notre Dame, you didn't make it. You didn't cut it. I want to say Moen cut that as a short and riled up all the Notre Dame fans saying, hey, sorry, you didn't make the cut. From Wild Ute. And Wild Ute, Wild Ute's 100% correct. The ACC should have been, if you would have looked at the week before the final ranking, the ACC should not have got in.
Right.
Miami, like I said, because the tiebreaker system the ACC has, which nobody's been able to explain to me, and the fact that UVA just threw up on their shoes. Let's say UVA won that game.
Right.
You think Miami is in the CFP?
No.
It would be Notre Dame.
Right. And Notre Dame's a pain in the butt.
Yes. But UVA, but let's say it was UVA Miami in that game.
Right.
And whoever won that game, ACC rep for the playoffs. Notre Dame's in. And whoever lost is staying home. That's just the way things work. The fact that Notre Dame, and we talked about before, the fact Notre Dame is being crybabies, they'll always be crybabies.
And there's the point I've said about Notre Dame fans.
Yeah.
They cry and they complain and they just absolutely think that they're entitled to everything they can get their palms around.
As long as, and we've talked about this before too, as long as NBC Universal is cutting checks to Notre Dame, as long as the CFP gives Notre Dame a special cut of the CFP revenue, they get the same amount of money as other ACC teams do, and they get to keep all the CFP money that they make for each round that they go through. And as long as schools are still willing to schedule Notre Dame as a P4 opponent, Notre Dame will still be independent. It will take 2 of the 3 to make it to where Notre Dame will have to relent and become a full conference member of somebody.
Right.
It's not going to be the SEC. SEC doesn't want them. It's not worth the money to go into the ACC because it's not worth the money. The Big 12, it's not worth joining the Big 12. Here's the way I see it. It's not worth, with all this complaining this whole entire week with Notre Dame, it doesn't matter. The Big 12 is a lateral move from the ACC. It's not worth paying the buyout, and I have no clue what Notre Dame's buyout is, but they do have a buyout and it's prorated. And somebody explained it to me and I can't remember. So is it worth Notre Dame paying the ACC buyout just to move to the Big 12 and make the same amount of money? No. There's only one group that they could join that would make sense, and they are already in that conference for hockey.
No, and I agree with you.
And here's the thing, I wouldn't say alienated, but they're not making a lot of people happy.
No, they are not. And I say this honestly, Dan, Notre Dame fans just don't make sense.
They never have. They never will. They won't. Who cares? I'm not going to
go on about them.
No, it's not worth it.
Like, here's the thing, Dan. And if you do this for me, that would be phenomenal. Tell Moen and Rock and Rant they're welcome to come on here and talk.
Moen's is more busy than one human can possibly be. And God,
Rock and
Rant is even more busy, because you got to think of it this way: work full-time jobs, and like Rock and Rant does a couple of shows a week for his channel, does a show for our channel. He's super busy. About the only day out of the week that you're going to probably be able to talk Moen into coming in is today, but he is right now doing notes for the show that he does at 4 p.m. Well, 4 p.m. East Coast, 7 p.m. Eastern time zone, for his show with Rock and Rant this evening.
Yep.
So this is the only day that they really have, and they still got a show to do.
Yep. And I'll just say this: I would love to be a full member. I would love to be an honest crew member of the College Football Mafia. I would honestly, seriously love it.
It's not my decision. You got to talk to Nate. You got to talk to Nate and Moen.
Yeah, but the thing is, I want to have them on here so I can at least tell them myself. because I mean they got the shows on Monday, Tuesday, but it's like Sundays. I'm here to just say, oh, and speaking of Dan, a part of me, we have another guest, a fellow Mountaineer fan of yours. Well, I wouldn't say yours, but a fellow Mountaineer fan. We have the one, and I think you may know him, the one and very only Mountaineer Paul. Mountaineer Paul.
Hey, Paul.
Hey, how's it going, fellas? How we doing?
Doing great, Paul.
Good. Something I was taught is never turn down a request, because when I was coming up in the business 4 or 5 years ago, I had some people that were big names, like the guys from Sikkim 365, those guys, Paul Catalina, those guys, they all agreed. They came on my show. I had only done 1 or 2 episodes. So I know how it is to be starting out or only have a smaller show and want somebody to come on. Not that I'm some huge name, but
You're a huge name, Paul.
Yes, you are, Paul. Don't.
You're a bigger name than me.
And me.
So what are we talking about?
We were trash talking Notre Dame for a little bit.
Gotcha. What'd you guys think about Pavia, man? What bothers me about this is last night, I had a screenshot. I posted it earlier. Last night when they announced the Heisman, he stood up and he gave Fernando Mendoza a hug and said, congratulations. I'm not saying you have to fight the guy, but don't hug a guy one day and then talk behind his back the next. To me, that's a bad look.
It is.
It is.
I remember watching. I live out on the West Coast. I remember watching Mendoza last year down at Berkeley, and I'm like, wait, he's going where? Indiana? A little suspect on it. I'm like, okay, go to Indiana. But hey, he lit him up this year.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a testament to hard work, man. And sometimes the right coach matters for people. So it happens everywhere. Hopefully we get that situation in West Virginia this coming year.
You got to think of it this way. Just with basketball, we're on our 4th coach in 4 years.
Yeah. Right.
And watch up 16 and watching that team just Ohio State started doing a full court press, and things just went downhill.
Yeah.
And then went into the first overtime, and they could have won that and didn't. Went into the second overtime, they lost by 1 point. You're like, oh my God, this team is going to kill me. And then a friend of mine texted me, he's like, remember, this is the 4th coach in 4 years.
It is.
And it's like, and how bad was that 23-24 season? It's like, yeah, I know, bad.
I think it's just that we've seen this team. Well, I mean, look at that, the first half of last night,
Oh yeah, that they played great.
They're capable of it. It's not like they're not capable of it. It's just that, I mean, and here's another thing is like, there was a couple times last night in overtime where we were up a score and had possession, and then we step out of bounds and step out of bounds and step out of bounds. We stepped out of bounds 3 or 4 different times. It was blowing my mind. The foul they called on Jackson, where he went straight up and the dude fell and hit him in the legs. I have no idea. They gave him an and one on a goaltend. I've not seen that.
There was a charging foul. God, I want to say it was Huff, but I don't think it was Huff. There was a charging foul, and the OSU defender was still moving and backing up, like trickling the player, and they called blocking. And I'm like,
yeah, I remember that.
What is going on?
Yeah, that.
And then ESPN turned around and said, "Oh, this has been a fairly called game." I'm like, "What planet?"
Yeah, what's that guy's name? King McClure. He was really biased last night, in my opinion. I don't know. Maybe I'm biased and it's making me hear bias, but it sounded to me like he was making a lot of excuses for when Ohio State did something and calling West Virginia out when they did. And maybe it's his bias because he's a Big 12 guy, Baylor guy. Maybe he doesn't like West Virginia. There could be that going on.
I mean, I wouldn't know what his record was against WVU whenever they played, but it was whenever you had to play each team twice in the league. So there were a lot of I'm trying to remember. There was one game, and this is whenever Drew and Huggy got into it, just screaming at each other from either side of the arena. The game was at Waco, and God, it's
I do remember
10 plus years ago, and I can't remember the whole thing. He might have been on that staff. He might have been on that team then, but it was funny to watch.
Yeah, it was. Hugs wasn't afraid to get into it with people.
And I'll say that Ohio State West Virginia basketball game last night was whoo. My head was spinning after that one.
Oh God,
it was frustrating to watch, man. I was angry.
Frustrating. Y'all had us on the brim, and I was like, "You gotta be kidding me!" I literally about busted a cooking pan of my mother's. Just watch.
You got to remember, you guys. Ohio State won that, and they started doing that full court press, and that's whenever WVU went downhill.
Yeah, we don't have very many ball handlers, right? We've only got a couple that are any good. Obviously, the 2-point guards and then Honor Huff are really about as good as it gets for us ball handling wise. I mean, Eagle Staff can handle it a little bit. Outside of that, it starts getting really rough.
The problem with WVU right now is if you look at the non-con that they have, that Pitt win does not look good anymore because Pitt's now, I think it was 5-7, 5-6.
Yeah, they're not very good.
So they completely fell apart.
Right.
So you're only at the time it was a quad 1 win. You don't have a quad 1 win in non-con.
Right. Yeah, it's frustrating.
Did you go to the game at the Civic Center? I'm sorry, Charleston Coliseum.
I did not. I wanted to.
No, I didn't. I was doing something.
No. West Virginia played Wake Forest.
Wake Forest. It was a domination.
Charleston, West Virginia, and I had a bunch of friends of mine go to that.
Yeah, Wake Forest was way too long and lengthy for us.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was gonna say I wanted to go to the Ohio State WVU game, but then it's like, crap, I couldn't go. I wanted to go, but it's like, oh god, ticket prices are just ridiculous. But Paul, I wanted to get your thoughts on, and we were just crab talking Notre Dame, and I think Mountaineer Nation on your end can agree Notre Dame is a team that nobody gives a damn about.
Notre Dame?
Yep.
We really don't care about them, we're talking about them a lot.
The only reason is because there's just so much controversy, and then, Notre Dame fans are screaming like, oh, they deserve a playoff shot. They're this and this and this and this and this. And I'm like, oh my God, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not a great look for them, right? I mean, it's just the truth. It's in a basically, because they have so much power in the sport, it's one of the bigger screaming matches you're going to find, right? One of the bigger temper tantrums. It's an epic one. The thing is they wield a lot of power, though, right? Like they have the ability to make certain things happen for themselves, and I think that's why you're seeing like the report about them being automatically in next year come out and all the did you see that report?
Oh, the Crap, I'm trying to think of the one that you're talking about, Paul.
I know what you're talking about. I can't remember.
It's a special agreement for the expanded
Yeah,
college
yeah,
football playoff,
yeah.
which
That if
starts
they're in
next
the
year.
top 12, that if they're in the
Yes.
top 12, no matter what they're in. Yes.
Correct. Which is, it's ridiculous because it's just ridiculous, man. Like, so basically they get a memorandum. So does that mean we can get one if we go independent? I'm asking for a friend because we don't have to play a championship game then, because could BYU have done that this year? Can they do it next year? I don't know, man. I don't think that's going to stick. Maybe it will. Maybe it will.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, I don't know.
And I understand what you guys are saying, but there was just, I was gonna mention this. Oh God, I lost my train of thought because I've been talking about. We the talk crap about Notre Dame.
No, we were just talking about the fact that, and if you want to get right, and WVU's had 4 coaches in 4 years. 2023-24 was probably the worst season WVU. I mean, it was the least number of wins since like 1940 whatever, and worst winning percentage since like 1920 whatever. Last year, if they would beat Colorado, who was the worst team in the league, first round of the Big 12, that would have gave them their 20th win. They would have made the tournament, hopefully made the tournament. But if you want to get right down to it, if you look at last night's game, they just played flat.
Yeah, I agree.
Year one, and you're on. I've heard. I couldn't even begin to hear all the stuff I heard about coaches from last year at WVU. It would have been, I could fill up a book.
Right. I get that.
You probably heard the exact same thing I did, Paul. I mean,
depends on what are you talking about?
Where the coaching staff was, I wouldn't say they tanked that Colorado game, but they did not put full effort.
Oh, yeah.
The Colorado game in the Big 12.
Listen, man.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I am not. I mean, I probably have a screenshot if you guys want to see it, but like I was reporting the silently among my peers, and I think I've shown the screenshot on the show if you paid attention. Yeah. Like I have shown the screenshot of me giving information about his shoulder and then planning him to set out in November of 2020. I guess it would have been 2023. November 23.
It would have been 20. It would have been 24. November
24. Sorry, November 24.
After the tournament that they had in
Maui.
No. Bahamas.
The Bahamas. Yeah. I don't know why I said Maui, but like so this was before that.
Yes.
Because obviously I've said this, I've talked about it publicly now. I had all of his brothers, his uncles on my show, which is Darren's brothers, Dusty DeBreeze and Derek DeBreeze. And they're really nice guys, especially, one guy's the Detroit Lions Hall of Famer and Iowa all-time great player. Dusty was, he's just an average guy, but I mean, he's still obviously family. And I had gotten close to Dusty, and we talked almost every day. And every now and again, he'd have a couple drinks, and he would slip and tell me some things I don't think I was supposed to know. Even he wasn't telling me. One of those things was, I just got to tell you something, man, but you can't say anything. It always starts out like that, And of course, I didn't say anything at the time except to people I trusted. But he said Tucker's thinking about shutting it down. He's had back-to-back off-season shoulder surgeries, and it's bothering him. And I do believe that. I do believe it was.
I believe that too. Yes.
But he said, you know, we're gonna have to get it looked at, blah blah blah. And so then I told a couple of people like in my circle that this was going on, and then he went and made 8 threes against Arizona. So everybody was like, "Are you sure you're not just making this up?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm telling you, they were ribbing me." Like he made 8 threes after I said his shoulder was bothering him. So I was like, "Okay, well maybe it's not," you know. And then a couple games later, he shut it down.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I shouldn't have been surprised, but obviously, you know, as we went through that process, Dusty was telling me, like, giving me updates. And he said, you know what? If I don't know if you remember this, but the Field of 68 guy, what's the guy that works Field of 68? What's his name?
Oh, man, I cannot remember the guy's name.
The journalist. Anyways,
yeah.
the guy kind of talks with a lisp a little bit.
Yeah, God, his name's right there, and I can't remember his name.
He put something out that said, hey, there's some guys that may get an extra year of eligibility.
Yeah.
Tucker was one of those guys. So he called me and said, hey, look, Tucker might actually get an extra year of eligibility. And if that's the case, he's just going to go ahead and play the rest of the year. And I was like, oh, hell yeah, you know, I'll come to find out. It was just tendonitis. That was all it ended up being, just from having 2 surgeries. Michael Jordan played through it. A lot of people played through it. It's not comfortable. Is it something that should put you out for the year on a contract when you've had NIL money and all those things given to you, including $1,000 that I gave him that he never came on my show for, never gave it back to me? Like, you know, I resent the hell out of that, you know? It's not like I'm rich.
Yeah.
And that money was.
Trust me. I can guesstimate how much you make, and because I know our numbers are. We're sitting there. We make the joke about internet money all the time. Oh, look at this internet money. And we're like, oh, well, this is what we have to pay for StreamYard, and this is what we have to pay for this. And, oh, hey, we're going to have to pay for that. Oh, crap, we're broke. Yeah.
Well,
Right.
I am lucky in that I work for Locked On, and they have all those sponsors. You know,
Yeah.
So it's a little different. But now,
Yeah.
okay, so what I make now versus what I make then.
Yeah.
Are way different, right? Like
Yeah.
I am extremely blessed to be where I am now.
Yeah.
And like I tell people all the time, because of my time and addiction, like obviously I'm just catching up to a lot of other people.
Yeah.
You know, because I was out in the wilderness, as they say, for so many years doing that. And so, you know, I didn't really get my life together until I was 35. I was 35. I didn't own a car. I didn't own a house. I didn't have any credit. I didn't have bad credit, good credit. I just had no credit. That's a tough place to start. And so it was COVID, and I just started talking into a microphone, and that grew into Mountaineer Paul Talks Football. And then when Locked On came along, that's when I actually started making enough to where the RS is going to care. You know,
That
so,
you now have a 1099 that you have to
yes,
process now. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't even know. This is something I'm actually in the process of figuring out. Like, there's apparently, like, if you only make a certain amount, you still don't have to file. But I think I'm well over that.
It's $600 per quarter if you do a quarterly with a 1099.
Oh God, that's it.
Yeah.
No.
Get a hold of. You're in the Huntington area. There's
Right.
Oh God, I cannot remember the guy's name. Say my life. Brian Massey. He's in Barbersville. Get a hold of him. He's handled money. He was a frat brother.
It's got me stressed now a little bit. I mean, we're off track, but
don't worry about it, because guess what? Everything cycles through. You'll be fine. Trust me.
Can you do payments and stuff?
Oh yeah. As long as you cut a check, they don't care. And
okay.
Get with Brian Massey. He lives over. Matter of fact, at one time, he might have been a neighbor. He was in South Point, Ohio at one time, and worked there in downtown Huntington, and moved out towards. He lives in Culloden now, and that tells you how much I know about that area. I know way too much.
Right. Do you know about where I'm from in Dingus?
Yes. Mingo County. Yes, I do. Yeah. There was a friend of mine that I went to high school with. I'm from Boone County. You know that.
Okay.
Went to Sherman.
Wow.
He married a girl, and I cannot remember her name. The guy's name's Mike Mills, and moved down
Like what?
Mills, Mills.
I don't know why I leaned in like it was going to help.
Yeah. And
Well,
moved down to Dingus in like 2000. Lived down there for it's probably about 2000. I'm trying to remember. Lived down there for about 10 years in Dingus.
Wow. That's
And
the
then
country. I like to tell people that's the country.
Oh yeah. I always remind everybody, like whenever I was active duty military, I would have to give my mom's home phone number, and saying cell phone signals don't work at my mom's house in Boone County, West Virginia.
Right.
If you need to get a hold of me, here's the number. And was back there, like left there on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Monday went to go play golf over, you know where Riviera is there in Cabell County. Okay, we went to play golf. Friend of mine from Poca. We went to Riviera.
From Poca?
And yeah, he's from Poca.
Wow, I know a lot of people from there too.
So I get over to where the West Virginia Turnpike is at, and my phone blew up from, like I said, I was still active duty military, asking about something that happened on a Saturday. And I call him up. It's like, dude, it's like, dude, I haven't been in town since Thursday. They're like, well, we've been trying to get a hold of you on your phone. They said that you were out of town. And I'm like, yeah, I was out of town. Like, oh yeah, something happened on Saturday. They said that you made a call. It's like, good luck.
But I wanted to ask Mountaineer Paul this question to you.
Yes, sir.
I asked Daniel Gygax this on the first episode. Him and I came together. And Dan, I asked you this honestly as a Buckeye fan and somebody who likes West Virginia, not just because they're our neighbors, but you know.
Right.
But with Coach Rodriguez being back, do you feel like the next couple of years of Mountaineer football could be something special? Could it be like Coach Rodriguez makes this statement and says like, hey, this is, we're bringing back Mountaineer football.
You can win a national championship in West Virginia, right? He said that.
Right.
I don't know if that's possible. I mean, look, we would all love it to be possible, national championship, but it would take immense luck and resources to do, right? Taking the bias out of the equation, I could see both things happening. I really do lean towards, I think things are going to be special, especially maybe by year 3, but there is a chance that it could fall. I don't like to think about it, but there's a chance that it could fall apart, right? And this may not work out. There are some philosophies that Rich Rod has, and I'm sure Daniel would agree, that are a little antiquated at times. And some of his philosophies are a little more old school, like whether that's no dancing with TikTok in the locker room, which I do agree with, but it doesn't matter whether I agree with it or not. It all comes down to, are you doing everything you can to keep players while also maintaining your culture? And it's such a fine line, because you want this hard edged nature, and you don't want anybody in your program that's not like this. And it's just tough because as a guy who wouldn't understand TikTok and the dancing on TikTok,
I don't.
sometimes I don't either.
I
I'm
don't
40.
either.
But I mean the 18-year-old kids and you know, especially kids in the inner cities, it's more of a cultural thing. And I think it's something that can miss with a guy like Rich Rod. It may seem soft, but like these kids are just, you know, I mean, it's just culture, you know, it's just differences in culture. I don't know necessarily that it always means that they're soft. You get what I'm saying? Even though some of the dances are embarrassing, they're goofy, sometimes they're shaking their rear ends. Doesn't necessarily mean they're soft. I think it may look it that way. But anyways, I'm off track. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
I get it. Yeah.
I think as long as he gets enough resources, I think we'll be fine. Like, you know, the number we're hearing this year is obviously they've got the full cap, which is great, which is 20 to 22 million, 12 to 13 of that's for football. And then you hear Rich Rod say, if I can get 8 or 10, maybe 13 outside the cap, we can compete. So let's say it's just 8. Let's just say it's just 8. Well, that's $20 million. Texas Tech spent $28 million on their roster. So you're $8 million behind at that point. You know, I still think there's a way that you can win because Rich Rod's always won with less anyway. Because that's why we do the things we do as a program. We're different. A lot of the time, the reason that we're different is because we have to be different in order to maintain some type of edge. The offense we run gives us an advantage against teams that are more athletic than us, right? The defense that we run gives us an advantage against teams that are more athletic than us. So I think in both cases, you set yourself up for pretty good success there. Now, what happened? The question is what happens when you get the number one recruiting class in the Big 12, like we just had? And what happens if you do have 25 million to spend in the portal and you plug in really good players into these systems? That is the wild card that I don't know. I think you could see us in a situation maybe where we're like a Utah or a BYU next year, where we're just knocking cats off the ball and we're in there that 8 to 10 win range, which would be an ultimate success, right? Anything between 8 and 10 wins next year for Rich Rod is like you're on track. Obviously 8 is like you're on track. 9 is a dream. 10 is like pinch me, you know, like, is this really happening? Like that kind of thing. Beyond that, like, you know, and obviously if you're in the 10 win range, you're in the playoff discussion. So if you're in it, you got a chance to win it. And I always have said the one thing about us, the reason we were able to beat Georgia in the Sugar Bowl, we were able to beat Clemson in the Orange Bowl, we were able to beat Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl, is because in a situation where you don't have a long time to prepare for West Virginia, it's a difficult thing because of the type of schemes that we run traditionally with these guys. So long-winded way to say, I do think that we have a really good chance to be successful, but it all hinges on the overall resources that Rich Rod gets and his ability to maintain and keep players. He's bringing in several dozen players to recruiting, but you do have the number one class and you put multiple 4-star players on signing day. If you told me West Virginia was going to beat out Texas Tech for the number one class in the Big 12, I'd have probably thought that was not going to happen, but it did.
Or BYU. You want to know how much money? Oh my God.
Or TCU. Or TCU.
No, sure.
Oh, no. TCU money is.
And you guys know how we did that, right? You know, guys, what the strategy was?
I donate.
You donate?
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
No, I mean, like, in all seriousness, though, do you guys, you guys know what Ren Baker and company did to put ourselves in this position? Do you remember?
I know that the Blue Gold Enterprises and stuff like that helped.
Right. So basically what they did was, if you'll remember, you guys remember on Three Guys, Hoppy Kurtzberg brought up, you know, they didn't spend all the money. They saved $5 million.
Yeah. Because the way that cap works is it started July 1st. So what you had before that, you didn't have to spend. So this year's roster, they only spent I can't remember. Somebody told me 5.5, and I don't believe that number. I think it was more.
Most likely more. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
probably
somebody
closer
told
to
me five and a
9.
half, and
Probably
this is a
closer to
guy.
8 or 9, I would say.
This is a guy that I would think would be more plugged in than the normal human, but he said 5. But even then, what you're right that they didn't spend the whole allotment, and they're spending it now.
On recruiting,
yeah.
which is why we were able to flip guys like Latimer at the very end from Miami and Ohio State. You know, so those things matter for sure, and I think it's a philosophy they'll continue to do. How many of these guys are you going to keep? It's a huge class. 49 high school players is enormous. Some teams don't bring that in 3 years, maybe even 4, right? Like you look at Colorado, they're bringing in 12 guys. Like that means in 4 years, that's 48 players. Like they don't bring this in 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
You're muted.
Here's WVU's problem, and it stinks. And it's the Big 12 problem. And talk about the Big 12 all the time. The Big 12 is the island of misfit toys. Paul remembers the Hateful 8 days. That conference was left for dead more than once. They were left for dead in 2011. They were left for dead a couple of years ago. If it wasn't for the fact the Pac-12 absolutely had no clue what they were doing, would have never picked up Colorado, Utah, and the Arizona schools.
Right.
The problem is that, and I did a short on it, and I used the word Feinbaum, that the Big 12 needs a Feinbaum. They need somebody with a big national voice that is willing to talk about the Big 12. The problem is
Drake Toll's getting there.
What's Drake's number compared to ESPN? And
I don't know. He gets about 100,000 views a video.
I love
right
Drake. I love Drake.
He just got a show with Jim Rome.
I know. What's Drake's numbers compared to Feinbaum? I bet you.
I don't know.
I bet you Drake probably gets 5% of what a Feinbaum.
I don't know,
gets.
man. He goes, you know, he goes live. Well, he doesn't go live, but he records multiple videos a day, 7 days a week.
Yeah. But
so
Drake, here's the thing with Drake. He's already preaching to the choir. Everybody that signed up to listen to Drake, they're already Big 12 guys.
A lot of them are. He does have a lot of people that hate him too.
Well, love him or hate him. The problem is that we need McAfee to go all in with the Big 12.
He can't, unfortunately. I wish he would.
No. He does a lot for WVU.
Yeah.
Just the amount of time that he spends on WVU football and athletics.
It's really big.
That is the best free advertising that you could ever get. And the problem that you're running into is you need somebody that is there, that's a big voice for the Big 12. Like
I'll tell you what, gentlemen, if I had the opportunity to, because I've been advocating for the Big 12, that it would be that it's a powerhouse conference that's just been a sleeping giant.
But even then, and a lot of it has to do with the Big 12 doesn't have a network. ACC network is owned by Disney.
Right.
The SEC network is owned by Disney, and the Big 12 is owned by Fox. The Big 12 doesn't have a network.
So I just did a video on this. Did you see my video about the 500 million?
Yeah.
Where we're
Utah.
talking about whether
and if you ever watch our show, we've got one guy from BYU and one guy from Utah on there, and
one guy from Ohio State.
Yeah, one guy from Ohio State and 2 from Washington and me. But that's a lot of money. And the thing is, nobody's got a chance to read the full contract yet because they're waiting for the FOIAs to work its way through the state of Utah. And this is the way I see it. It's either going to be the greatest thing to ever happen to college athletics, or it will be the absolute dumbest thing to ever happen to a university. I as of this very second, as I'm sitting right here, I don't know. I have no idea. Same thing with the Big 12 signing that deal, their deal that they have. I don't know how it's going to work.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah. That one. I thought you were talking about the Utah deal. I
No,
don't know.
because so you realize who's involved there, right?
Yes.
So it's obviously Redbird Capital, but also Weatherford, right?
Yes.
Drew Weatherford is former Florida State quarterback, right?
Yes.
Who is really he's on their trustees.
Yes.
And Florida State's really they just sued the conference, right? Like it's a very tumultuous time. Now you've got Notre Dame coming in, and it's getting even worse for them. People are talking about trying to freeze Notre Dame out of even scheduling with them because all this agreement of them being in the top 12 or whatever. So that said, I speculated that could Drew Weatherford be catalyst now that you've got this deal, because it includes media, right?
Yes, it
like
does.
This is a lot of media involved in this. Like there's a lot of media conglomerate in this deal in Redbird. So does that mean the Big 12 could do a network with a guy like Drew Weatherford, get Florida State out of the ACC and blow that thing up? I think Yormark's the kind of guy that could have that kind of foresight.
The problem that you have with they've already have tier 3 rights locked up with Disney, with ESPN Plus. The deal that they have with TNT is TNT, CBS, and I am forgetting somebody off the top of my head that
I wish TNT would just lock us up, man. That's I love their broadcasting.
TNT.
But look at their numbers. If you look at the TNT numbers compared to what you got with like Fox,
you'd have to build it. Yeah. I mean, it's something you have to build.
Those numbers, like what was that WVU Arizona State game? What was the number on that? I want to say that number was like
400 or 500K.
I thought it was like 300,000 and change. WVU Colorado, I want to say got less than 1 million.
I just got an update on my phone. Sorry. Philip Rivers just threw a touchdown pass.
Yeah, no, I saw that.
God.
Yeah, I saw that too. We're like
his first pass in nearly 5 years.
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing what he's doing.
44 years old, get me off the I'm 51. If I was at 44, get me off the couch and have to do something like something like that. I did 20 years in the Air Force. I'm out of shape. but whenever it gets right down to it, did you see the quote by the MAC commissioner saying 2030 is going to be nuts?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's whenever everybody's lining up for that. The Big Ten is 2029. The ACC, everybody can cut checks and leave in 2030. Big 12's 2031. So who's going to do what? That Utah deal, let's get right down to it. That Utah deal is to get the Big Ten's attention. Utah does not want to be in the Big 12.
Yeah, they've made that pretty damn obvious, haven't they?
They've made it pretty obvious. And to sit there and say that, I mean, I've been asked this before. Hey, let's say the SEC calls up tomorrow. You guys go in. It's like, oh yeah, WVU's in 2 seconds tomorrow. I mean, you can guarantee that, Paul. I mean, that's just how the world works. If you've got a SEC or Big Ten wanting to make that call, you're leaving, you're going, you're gone. So
Right.
now what do? Do you? The problem is that we don't know what the appetite is for the SEC. We don't know what the appetite is for the Big Ten. We don't know what is going to happen with the ACC. I mean, Paul could probably show you DMs and rumors just like I have for the past,
months. And even weeks. Like, there's a lot of rumors that go around college football that spread like wildfire.
Right.
You know how close WVU was to getting into the ACC in 2011?
Probably pretty close.
You know how close they were to getting into the ACC in 2011?
I don't.
Closer than what you think. And this is after A&M. This is the Big 12. A&M announced they were leaving. Nebraska announced they're leaving. Colorado announced they're leaving. Missouri still hasn't decided if they were leaving or not. And A&M was going into the into the SEC. It was down between WVU, Missouri. The only reason why is because the SEC network needed the subs. Earthquake drill.
Hold on. Shaking expected. Earthquake. Drop. Cover. Hold on. Shaking expected.
Let's see where it's from. I feel nothing. I've been here too long. Everybody on their phone. What is it? Oh, 4.9 in, hold on. 4.9 in.
Well, let me ask you this, Mountaineer Paul, on the Notre Dame stuff and your opinion on Notre Dame fans. And we talked about this dozens of times, and you probably does mention it on Lockdown West Virginia. Just give me your thoughts on Notre Dame fans and what you think, and just their whole rants and spewts about how, they're this and this and this, and they deserve this and this. I want to know your honest opinion.
I mean, it's just it's frustrating to watch, man. Like I think we can all agree that they were screwed to a certain extent, but at the end of the day, what they're doing helps nobody, helps nothing. It adds to nothing. It's focusing on the problem and not the solution, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's my issue, is like crying and screaming and getting a memorandum for yourself. What's that?
The 4.2, that was a grand total of 28 miles away, and I didn't feel a thing. The earthquake alert, I got on my phone.
Oh, where do you live?
Vallejo. I mean, you can sit there and see it. Let me block this out a little bit. You can see the dot where I'm at, and
wow. Interesting.
California has a 3.0 earthquake or better a day, and you've got these earthquake trackers that you put on your phone, and I think I got my sensitivity adjusted too low because that and I've lived out here for 30 plus years. I was at Travis Air Force Base. I got here in April of '93 to Travis Air Force Base, so I've been here a while.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Back to what I was saying about Notre Dame, though. Like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I am an expert on the rants and anything like that, Diesel. But you know, a lot of teams, even some Ohio State fans, can be rough to deal with. You know what I mean, bro? Like
Yeah,
teams that
and
are in the upper echelon like that, like they do have an inflated self sense of worth, just like probably West Virginia fans have an over deflated sense of non self worth, right? Like we probably a lot of us probably undervalue West Virginia's brand power and some over, just like for Ohio State, Notre Dame, but I mean, specifically Notre Dame, I don't know if Ohio State, personally, I don't think Ohio State would be in the situation Notre Dame is in.
mm-mm.
I think your brand is just stronger. And I think they would have probably made sure you were in. If you're going to be honest with you, I think, Notre Dame is a very strong brand, but it's lost a lot of the luster, right? It's not what it was 30 years ago.
Mhm.
There are at least Alabama's brand is stronger. Ohio State's brand is stronger. LSU's brand is stronger. Ohio State's brand is stronger. Michigan's brand is stronger right now. I would probably say USC, Notre Dame are on par with one another now. Miami's dropped a bunch. They're not, although it's coming back some. Oklahoma's brand is stronger than Notre Dame's right now, even. Like, personally, my belief. So I think it's a lot of that is like they're probably now, just outside or right there, top 10, where they've been number one or number two for all time until the last 10 or 15 years. So you see the ascension of Clemson has hurt them a lot. The ascension of other teams has hurt them some. And there's just more parity in the sport. Notre Dame ruled the sport for so long in a lot of ways, like Nebraska did for a little bit, that I think it just you're so used as a fan base for things going your way. And think of it like this. Here's the best way I can put it. It's just off the top of my head, but it sounds like a good comparison. Have you ever been with the same one for a long time or a girlfriend for a long time, and then you start to lose her and somebody else comes in, and it's this rage, this jealousy comes over you? I mean, I don't know if as a man, if any of you have ever experienced this. I have.
No.
No.
So I'd lost somebody.
I
that
don't
was
even,
with for-
and I'll say this, Mountaineer Paul, I don't even have a girlfriend.
Have you
So-
never had a girlfriend?
Never. No.
I've been married a long time, so
Okay, so if a man come in and started to pull your wife away, God forbid it ever happened, you would probably experience this of a jealousy unlike anything you've ever experienced, right? Or an anger.
you want to know something? I'm pretty zen. She's not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere.
Right.
She puts up with a lot. She puts up with my car habit, and that's pretty bad.
So I'm here, and you're not helping.
I gotta go, guys. So thanks,
Daniel,
Caden.
thank
Thanks,
you
Paul.
so much again, sir, for
Do what?
joining me. And I will catch you on the College Football Mafia, and make mention to Moen and Nate and I thinking about maybe joining the College Football Mafia as an official member.
You have to contact them, not me contact them for you.
Well, I just want you to give them a heads up that I'll be,
I know. So get a hold of them, or hey, who's doing Locked On Ohio State for you guys?
Jay is, I believe. Yeah.
Okay.
Jay.
Always do that.
I've only dealt with him one other time because I'm Big 12, he's Big 10, so we don't cross over a lot. But
I know.
But I do know him. I have his number.
Yeah.
know?
I was about to say, I mean, get a hold of Mo and get a hold of Nate, because they're the two guys that run the whole entire show. I'm
What
not
show are y'all talking about?
the College Football Mafia show.
Oh, that show. Okay, gotcha.
My show.
Okay.
So
yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't realize I wasn't catching on to what you guys were talking about.
Caden, here's a word of advice. always set up a schedule and stick to it.
Yeah.
That we got that advice that, hey, we're going to do a show on Sundays, we're going to do a show on Tuesday, we're going to do a show on Wednesday at this time, we're going to do a show on Friday at this time, we're going to release a short at this time, we're going to release this at this time. And that was told to us by Mark Rogers from Voice of College Football. Because get with Mark. Mark's always looking for people.
Yeah, he is.
Get with Mark. Mark's always looking for people.
What is he looking for? Just an outlet to stream on or something?
You know, I have no idea, but Mark's always looking for something.
No, I mean Caden. Is he just looking for something to do?
Caden's, yes.
Yeah,
but
the Voice
like I
of
said,
College Football, I mean, I really don't. I mean, like, I get involved, but that's only because Jackson Johnson and I have debates, though, who's still a better team.
You want to know something? I went on a 20-minute rant one day about the fact that I thought that the Utah BYU rivalry was the most overrated rivalry in America. And guess who was on the Big 12 Mafia show? Guess who was on it? A BYU guy and a Utah guy. And I said it was the most overrated rivalry in the conference. And I got a lot of hate for it. But you want to know something? They were okay because I gave all my reasons from this is what the viewership number is. This is what this is. This is what that is. And I had notes. I had like 10 pages of notes just saying.
Having gone to Provo and experiencing it.
I've been there. I went there for the WVU basketball game last year. That place is great.
Man, what an awesome place.
There north of Salt Lake, there is Hill Air Force Base, and the southern part of the Air Force Base is the Ogden Air Logistics Center, and they rebuilt landing gear for basically every airplane in the fleet. And I've gone out there before for like dealing stuff with C5 landing gear. I've worked C5s out at Travis. You go there, and I mean, Ogden's great, but the number of times that I went south of Interstate 80 anytime I was in Ogden was once. That was whenever I was active duty. Then me and Nate went to the BYU WVU basketball game. That is a Saturday night game. The building was packed. The building was loud, and it was probably the nicest crowd I've ever been to.
Oh yeah, they're so nice.
I have been in crowds like wearing
they give you ice cream.
Wearing this nice little logo to like what was it? To like different events. My all-time favorite. I'm wearing a Steelers Franco Harris jersey. This would have been 96-7 Oakland Coliseum. They were playing the Raiders. And a guy was yelling at me, kind of jokingly, saying, "Hey, the ball hit the ground." It's like, "Hey, touchdown." And he's like, "Either you're really brave or really stupid." And I'm like, "I'm both." And the guy hands me a beer. He's like, I can't argue with that.
But
you want to know something? I mean, but you never heard a single drop of trash talk. And I'm like, this is weird. I'm used to somebody nudging me saying, "Hey, scoreboard," and nobody said a word. And I'm like, right. I do it all. I've done it all the time whenever WVU's up, say, "Hey, what's that scoreboard say?"
Right.
Yeah.
So, it's not like you're talking bad about them, you know?
Yeah. So I got to go, guys.
Yeah, I do too as well, actually, Caden. But thank you, Daniel. It was good to see you again.
Nice to see you again there, Paul.
And
see you, Caden.
And thank you so much, gentlemen. I do want to make a quick reminder. I am always live 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sundays. So,
okay, buddy.
So any Big 12 fans, friends,
see you later, buddy.
I'm here. But thank you, Mountaineer Paul and Dan, for that. And I say it's an honor and a privilege to have you gentlemen live with me. You guys can go check out Mountaineer Paul and Dan at the College Football Mafia, and you can also check me out here on YouTube at Caden the Diesel Freak on YouTube. But I will say that this was one of the most entertaining moments of the show. And I honestly say thank you, and just what an unbelievable experience this has been. Because now, I don't know, it's just been unbelievable. Anyways, you guys, I'll be back always Sundays, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that's all for it today, folks. And I'll catch you guys next time here on the Diesel Freak channel. As always.